insane global pick composition.
We have been... What do the priests do? The holy water. Absolved? We have been ablution. What do you call it?
As in, like, your sins are removed.
Yeah.
That is absolved, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been absolved.
We have been absolved of the most tainted champion in League of Legends. But that does mean, I think you mentioned it before, Syndra is a party goer, and someone like Icon has played many a game of Syndra.
I hear he's a party animal.
Well,
I haven't heard that, but he's going to go for the Syndra in the mid lane.
He does look kind of like boy bandish, doesn't he?
He definitely
like
does.
a pop star.
I could... you know what? If his League of Legends career ends, if he doesn't go into modeling, I'm going to be disappointed. But that's a conversation for a different time.
You're going to be disappointed.
Look, I have a keen interest in Icon's modeling career.
Hey.
That's a story for another time. We've got Syndra in the mid lane for Icon. It's going to be a Lee Sin for Hacker as well. That is a very aggressive 2v2 combo. That
wins. That definitely wins out lane, huh? Well, with such a good power pick, with a comfort for Hacker, now for LNG, are you ready? Does XX go back to what he played so much on Top Esports? Yes, he does. He loved playing Jarvan with not something like the Galio.
Yeah, Maple going for the Galio this time. This is becoming a very standard answer to the Syndra. You can kind of just weather the storm during the laning phase. Very much a pick that's just going to neutralize the mid lane, and you're looking similarly to that Twisted Fate for fights around the mid game. You're looking to really spike, but the combination between the Galio and the Jarvan means that you can set up these huge fights, especially looking towards things like the third Drake.
The Cataclysmic Entrance. Remember that name as we go into Game 2, because that's what the duo makes, as bottom lane cemented with Cold's Thresh. Cold loves this pick. We remember when he was known as 5, it was between that and the Time Kench quite a lot of the time.
And we're seeing two very different styles of composition drafted so far here, because we've got a lot of team fight capability on the side of LNG. On the other side, OMG very much looking towards picks, right? You've got things like a Thresh, things like a Syndra, and a Lee Sin that people don't often look at Lee Sin and think of him as a pick champion. And I'm not even necessarily talking about the kicks. I'm talking about the follow-up when somebody does get picked. Lee Sin has a ton of damage. Sivir just got banned, Hysterics.
I know, that's why my eyebrows went up.
I guess that's got to be something behind the scenes that we've not seen in professional play.
You know what would be sick here? Put SMLZ on his Jhin. SMLZ is a pocket pick Jhin player, and he looks really, really good on it.
It looks fantastic in a pick composition,
He's
and it's a great way to answer the fact that they don't have hard engage on the team right now. Jhin is a fantastic way, similar to Ashe, where it's one of these kind of utility ultimates that is going to allow you to slow someone down, allow the pick to come on through from Cold or from Hacker or from Icon himself.
So Renekton's gone from Curse. Another targeted ban towards his most played champion. Do they pick top or 80 carry here?
You definitely expect 80 carry to come on through, so you can have the counter pick for Curse in the top lane. Obviously, Curse, as you rightly said, one of the primary carries of OMG, so they want him to have every advantage they could possibly give him, especially against things like this Galio. It's very possible that he ends up getting camped. So Kai'Sa comes on through for SMLZ. Not going to be the Ashe, not going to be the Jhin you were talking about. It is just going to be this late-game powerhouse AD carry.
I mean, you know why that win rate's so high. Jackie Love's been playing the hell out of this so far in the LPL 2020 summer. And SMLZ has been a Kai'Sa player in the past. I'm just going to see. He hasn't picked it up yet, so this will be his 5th champion in rotation as LNG have to put the cards down. Volibear 100% win rate, because yesterday Zoom came up big in Game 1.
And now this is a test for Curse. How hard have you been preparing? Because Volibear blind pick in that top lane. And we see a Fiora as the answer.
Well, this
and
is
a big old grin on the face as well.
This is the day for a color caster, huh? We need to talk about the matchup.
Let's bear one thing in mind that's going to be very important here. Flandre has a very telegraphed stun, right? What is Fiora really good at? Dealing with CC that is telegraphed because of that riposte. Also, she can kite people out super, super well. So Flandre's kit is going to be difficult to use. Now, I obviously don't know this matchup super well. I don't know if you guys know. I'm a play-by-play, not an analyst, generally speaking. But what I can imagine is that Curse, especially once he gets a little bit of lifesteal in the form of something like a Tiamat, or getting towards a Ravenous Hydra, should be able to sustain through that damage.
Let's just break it down even easier. Fiora likes beating down tanks. Volibear's like a bruiser, you know, mixed build as has been talked about across many streams.
Yeah.
nailing down one stat in Volibear has been the hardest thing. He's got tank stats, AD stats, AP stats. We've seen Doran's ring stats, Doran Blades. LCK was playing it as Conqueror. We've seen press the attack, grasp of the Undying.
We've seen a lot of different versions of it. The key similarity between a lot of them is he's either going Triforce first or Black Cleaver first. Still going for this like AD damage, and the Triforce especially is like leaning towards trying to carry in the mid game. One thing that Fiora will definitely do against Volibear is just outscale him. Later on in the game, he's not going to be able to fight Curse, and we could have a huge split push threat in the top lane. It's just during the laning phase, I'm not 100% sure on that matchup. But when we look at the comps holistically, very much it's LNG looking to start fights, especially around those dragons.
Yes, they will. LNG running in after what was a game one that felt to be in the bag, but wasn't. And Curse versus FLICKR, a top lane matchup I wasn't expecting here. FLICKR is the mad scientist that was part of Snake for 5 long years, turned then now into LNG. He's the person that picked out crazy stuff. It is no real surprise that he would start off his 2020 summer with the new Volibear in the top lane. Welcome to Summoner's Rift once again, ladies and gentlemen. No Jayos here, as we are at the Hongqiao Arena, or at least the players are. Back in action on stage, but no crowd. Look at what FLICKR's taken. It's Grasp of the Undying versus the Conqueror, of course, on Fiora. As this is the skin you get when you already have Volibear and he got redone.
It's a cool one. The 1000 Pierce Bear.
Yeah, the Wardruna skin. You can hear the Viking music playing in the background. This is a Baba Yaga. Have you played Rise of Tomb Raider?
No.
It's a quest you get. But also Baba Yaga means witch, grandma witch. If there's any Russian speakers in the chat.
I know Babushka. That's baby.
Babushka is grandma. No, it's grandma.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Babushka.
Well, I don't know Babushka.
You know what? I've been learning Russian recently.
I know the
and
song.
I learned this is my bicycle, which is Eta Moi Velociped.
I know Bolshoi Theatre.
What's that?
The Bolshoi Theatre.
Hey.
That's all I got.
Nothing like tuning into an LPL broadcast to hear your dose of Russian for the day, huh?
Well, that might not be. I think that's Belarusian.
What is?
I don't know. I'm
from Belarus.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very similar but slightly different language.
Okay.
Apparently. I don't know. I'm moving away from it. I'm less of an expert at that than I am at these compositions.
What would you like to take us through? Because that is a phase rush Galio.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
Good analysis.
So it's going to give him a lot of ways to get further into the fight with his taunt. Light's in trouble here.
Will be the walk away, but that's a massive trade. That's why Halo Blades Kai'Sa became so popular.
And here's the thing, right? Kai'Sa is... Hang on. You got a hook.
Yeah, Ignite's going to put down as well. Halo Blades comes through, such a short cooldown. The Cathian Rain does its job. Dwan and Light still level 1, but low now on the Nautilus.
That is exactly what you get when you don't respect that they're going to hit 2 before you, and they've got a Thresh. Like, Thresh is going to set up the Plasma for SMLZ, so the passive will proc. You get a lot of burst damage.
Looking at the matchup top side, this is a new one for a lot of the fans. We've seen a Volibear into Ornn here in the LPL. That's the only Volibear game we've seen. But apart from that, not too much. As Grasp of the Undying. Ignore mid for a second. I'm just looking through the rune set. Overgrowth, of course. As Sky Split is going to come down. Good shielding. Really good trade from FLICKR. And if Curse sits in that, he dies.
It's really important to talk about the fact that when it comes to the trades between these two characters, FLICKR is going to have the advantage in small burst trades, depending on the riposte, obviously.
Until 6,
but the longer the fight goes on, the better it looks for Curse, because he's going to be able to get those vitals, he's going to be able to riposte appropriately, and obviously Fiora is always going to do well in longer trades. But Volibear, all of his stuff is going to be on cooldown.
Just remember as well, really nice from Curse here to walk away. With the Frenzied Maul, it's not much about the first attack, it's about the second one that does so much more damage. That's the W. So Curse respects that, walks away, actually going to get a bit of an early back off here as well. And teleport back in with a refillable, with the cult. And of course, you're a Fiora, you're scaling, just the usual here.
And I want to revisit the conversation there of the Frenzied Maul as well. Important to mention that in case any of you guys haven't seen the new Volibear just yet, his W, it's kind of similar to the old W. You don't have to stack it up with the auto attacks anymore. When you hit it the first time, it's just going to do a bit of damage. If you can hit it again, though, not only will it do more damage, it also heals you when you manage to get that bite off. So a bit more sustain in the kit, but less on the passive, obviously. In fact, not on the passive.
It feels nice to play new Volibear when you're not versing a Fiora, though, I will say. As Curse is showing us some of these more dangerous trades. Plus extra lifesteal coming out of the Cull is going to be a nuisance alongside the Doran Blade, but As you know, Volibear trades through the wave, and as you know, Volibear wants a gank.
Certainly does. XX moving on up here.
Sky Splitter. Actually, bit of damage on the Curse. As FLICKR now pulling him in. Curse going in for the trade instead. Wants first blood, flashes away, but FLICKR back into the wave. While now leaves it up to XX. He's against the turret, but Curse has Icon alongside, and FLICKR is just dead here. Into bear stance mode. He'll die, and first blood given over to Icon.
I love how FLICKR has to back away in that fight, and XX is like, yo, I'm out of cooldowns. There's nothing I can do against this Fiora. I can't 1v1 this. Beautiful teleport from Icon. Another TP, though, to answer.
We fighting again. There's no flash available, but it's a double TP. In comes the bear and the statue. Sky Splitter doesn't land as Icon flashes away, but into the wave, the damage is enough. XX gets low, but now Curse is just left on the wayside versus 3. XX didn't need to steal that away, but he does anyway. And LNG, that was smart.
Very nicely done. That's going to be all teleports across the board used. Good answer here from OMG, though. With XX stuck in the top side, this is going to be the first Drake going their way. So at least they find some kind of consolation prize off the back of this one. And ultimately, when you look at the gold, we're still going to be even on this one. So it's not a huge advantage being taken by LNG in the top seed.
Look at what FLICKR just did. A couple of minions going to be denied. It is a cannon wave, so excuse me. And Cannon's going to slow that down massively. Curse walks back to lane, the level 5 Fiora versus the level 6 on FLICKR, who now has the Stormbringer available and has gone towards the Bammy Cinder. And after that fight, as Maple gets a couple of assists, excuse me, it's a Hextech Revolver there. And Icon going down, but able to pick up that first blood top side. It was only a Dark Steel and an Amplifying Tome for him. So we're getting slowly towards our first items on the Rift, and no real gold lead after the trade as well.
Yeah, when you look at the mid lane matchup, like, obviously, items going to be incredibly important, especially for Syndra. Hitting that Luden's Echo is a massive power spike.
Nice.
Nice smite there.
Yeah, gets a level advantage with the flash from Cold. Oh, baby, where did that Thresh come from?
So Maple going to be safe from that one in the end. Flash for flash, but you take that trade if you're Cold. You're happy to trade Thresh's flash for one in the mid lane, and it potentially opens up an opportunity for HAKKR there to try and get onto Maple. He's going to have to play safe now. But important to mention, both these mid laners, they spike incredibly hard off of level 6. Not necessarily in damage for Maple, but his ability to influence the rest of the map.
Of course, we'll be watching Maple threaten towards the bottom side. You can see already just going off into the outskirts of vision. And Maple in game number 1, we were complimenting him a bit in the early game on his TF, but then the game kind of went pear-shaped for LNG, and we started looking towards Icon on the Sylas. He's already built himself up the first kill. He's got a bit of CS under his belt as well. Doesn't have much of a lead over Maple, but for now, we'll stick to about 5 CS. While I just want to keep watching top. I want to know more about this matchup. I want to know... Ooh, nice Frenzied Maul.
I mean, one of the most interesting things... Hang on.
Yeah,
Icon's
power. Hero's entrance, and Icon's going to be knocked up. He's dead. That was just really nice from LNG.
And you know what? I mentioned Maple's flash being on cooldown. Icon's flash was on cooldown as well, but we've got a hook in the bottom lane.
Yeah, the 2 versus 2 begins. Cole doesn't have his own flash, though, if he gets caught on out. SML's at level 5. All the bot laners are, in fact, so fight stops there.
We've just got to witness a miniature version of exactly what LNG are going to try and do time and time again this game. But Cold wants more.
Light goes aggressive. That arcade shift. The light at the end of the tunnel for Cold as the trade from SLZ used the killer instinct. Won't find it until he dies. A double goes over to Light versus 1 for SMLZ. That Ezreal play was gorgeous.
That was damn close. See, HAKKR wants to contest for this one. Both bot lanes going to be nothing to do with the play. But I think with Icon still stuck in that mid lane, perhaps we see no contest from the side of OMG on the Herald. This is going to go the way of LNG.
I mean, HAKKR walking in here is a bit of a mistake. The Justice Punch, what the heck was that?
HAKKR, you can see your laners are clearly not responding.
You
know that they are there. You know they have CC. That was just a blunder.
Yeah, that was well said. Munchables 2-0 and 2 now. And LNG with a pretty big gold lead at the start of this game. All coming off the back of that TP play, leading into HAKKR, inting it away.
And just look at where the gold is right now for LNG. This is the perfect situation for them. 2 kills on each of their carries. You've got Volibear, who's just going to be building tank up on the top side of the map. Yep. And we're going to have a situation where Light is the primary carry for this team. You've got an Ezreal that he's going to be basically all of the damage. You're going to have this Jarvan going in. You're going to have, obviously, Maple ulting on top of him. A ton of CC across the entire team. But ultimately, the mantle of damage is going to fall on Light.
I mean, Light already, such a great start. Sheen and Tier before the 10-minute mark. He's keeping up in CS with SMLZ and Cold, who forced them out of lane quite early, or at least pushed them back. The Cole in hand as well. I want to draw your attention towards the mid lane, because Maple now has Proto Belt versus the lost chapter for Icon. He did pick up a bit of turret plating, so maybe that changes on his next back. But LNG's early game has turned really nice.
Yeah, and it's important to watch what Icon's able to purchase here, because obviously we saw Maple did have the advance back on him there, and he's going to be able to finish off his tier 2 boots. So that is still a significant spike there for Syndra. Not quite as big of a spike as that Proto Belt. Well, but a lot of the spike there in the Proto Belt.
You mean the hose? Oh, no, for Maple, right? Because I was going to say, if you look at Icon, you expect the hose first, right? Especially with that lost chapter there.
Yeah, the hose, the Ludens, either one is perfectly good option. But the hose certainly allows you to kite people out. And especially against a composition that just wants to hard engage, that could be an option.
Hang on, Bunchables. The bear smells something.
He wants to go for the
There's
CS.
honey in the tree. And he's thinking, boy, oh boy, are the bees nearby? You don't want to miss cannon until you get kicked in the wall and you go, no, the bees have returned. Nice.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. He knew that was going on. He knew something was up. He was like, this minion wave looks too juicy, looks too good to be true. And the reason for that is it was too good to be true.
You remember how game 1 went, right? Curse found himself a lead in lane. That one was just through CS. Now he's going to find turret plating as well. I mean, LNG trading.
This is the second game in a row here where OMG just go, look, we're just going to draft so Curse can have a massive lane advantage when it comes to the matchup. And it's working wonderfully for them. Hacker consistently giving him pressure towards the top side. And once again, it's on a champion that he can have a lot of split push threat on, especially against the Volibear that's building tank. All of the discussion I mentioned before about trading, that was assuming Volibear built any damage. He's just a tank. He never wins a 1v1.
Nope, he's got Phage on the way, which will mean he'll probably towards that Black Cleaver with Grasp of the Undying, while LNG, their bottom side, getting the turret, getting first turret blood, and getting the Ocean Dragon to spawn the Cloud Soul. Now, let's look across the board, because if I'm OMG, I say yes. Give me that Cloud Soul. Fiora, Icon on Syndra, SMLZ.
The biggest one I'm looking at is not even the Soul, the individual Drakes. When you've got a Galio and a Jarvan as your combo, you want that cooldown so badly. It just enables you to force these fights that you want to be able to get. You want to be able to just group up, slam the Jarvan down onto everyone with Maple following up, and Light able to free fire in the back.
Notice that Curse's first item is actually a Ravenous Hydra up in this lane. There is no Bramble Vest for Flandre, so the Ravenous for healing, of course the Wave Clear alongside it, instead of the Trinity Force First that we've seen in the past, or the Black Cleaver.
Yeah, and obviously the Hydra there, it's just like I want to stay in this side lane. I want to be able to push the wave time and time again, have sustain to deal with the lightning that's coming out of Flantre's passive. It just means that Curse can sit there all day long and bully Flandre until the end of time.
That was smart from Curse. He's leading by about 10 CS up in that top side. He's got a couple of plates. Has a bit more time to push this up as well, and you can see how quickly that goes on. Cull was complete on your screen. That was at 350 gold. Curse now thinking about heading back and cashing that in, but it's a quick push here from the top side in Flandre. And the wave will reset. And
let's just take a moment here to talk about Fiora as a champion and why you would draft a Fiora, right? Okay. Because generally speaking, when you look at Fiora as a champion, the rule of thumb is you don't really want to team fight pretty much ever. You want to be split pushing. If you're team fighting, it means you're probably behind and looking for something.
Oh no, not this again.
Flandre, well, there's TPs on both sides.
Sky Split is nice, but with the follow-up from Curse, it's still pretty dangerous. XX turns it back around. The Apostle's already used as the Shield of Duran from Maple. Doesn't hit the mark. 3 versus 3. TP from both sides, as you mentioned, ends with nothing but OMG hitting bottom side.
But ultimately, I'd say ending with nothing is a win for LNG. They were the ones that had to respond to the play. It was OMG trying to make that happen, trying to get more kills onto Curse. They deny it, and they found a pick.
He's just been hit in the air. Hacker's dead. And that's some pathing that he will regret.
And just look at the dive squad that they've got going on here for LNG. As soon as someone is out of position, everybody and their mums jumps into the fight.
And the problem is, when you're against a turret like that and Flandre is still there, you have to pay respect from OMG. As Curse in the top side is going to be engaged on XX nearby. But no Cataclysm available. Grand challenge? Is he
going to flash for this?
Curse is! Oh my god! Solo kill easily done by the Fiora.
And Galio has big old cooldowns. Now XX going to try the 1v1. Flandre's here.
Not sure because Curse is Curse. It's a good riposte. He gets out!
The riposte!
Was insane. Box is now down as well. Ignites through, and after such a sick play, he's going to walk all the way out.
Dude, Curse is so damn good on Fiora. He knows all of the CCs coming in, gets a perfect riposte, and it allows him to get the Dark Passage out. That was so beautifully played. I thought he was doomed, but Curse says otherwise.
And he's going to TP in now as well, just to join the squad and say, boys, better than the Shy, by the way. Flexing the skin as well. Is that nice little touch. 2-1 and 2. And after that, picks up a Phage, still has the Carl, controls his top side. And once again, OMG have their top laner to play through.
You know what? I said it right at the start of the series, and I'll say it again. Curse is the shining light if you are an OMG fan. Hacker regularly going up to set him up on this Fiora, but it's the individual mechanical plays that we see out of this player that set him apart from the rest.
Again, the top lane talent of OMG has been a bigger story for them for the past year. As LNG moving topside, there is a Rift Herald available. But OMG are resetting onto the map. Icon has shoved through mid and his first item plus the Aether Wisp.
So it's worth quickly mentioning now as we're getting towards another dragon as Herald is on the map. The AD carries have now entered the arena. Each of them has 2 items, so they actually function as champions at this point in the game. Both Ezreal and Kai'Sa going to be relying on the items. And they really hit their biggest spikes when they're getting to that 3-item mark. Both Kai'Sa and Ezreal kind of function in a similar way when it comes to the timeline of when they're strongest in the game. So expect over the next couple of minutes, when they finish one more item off, for them to really start to be main characters in this story.
But LNG moving mid for now. Remember, Flandre still has the ultimate available. Scout of the Week doesn't connect. Cold looking for that hook once more onto Dwan. Max range, almost. LNG is still doing the Rift Herald, but they're being spotted out here. LNG on the hunt. Dwan with a missed engage. Missed mistake. Goes golden. The Sky Splitter to force the engage. Flandre has level 2 ulti. Can jump on as the Death Sentence doesn't secure, but Hacker kicks XX away from the Herald. Now they're just safeguarding it. The Scout of the Week once again from Icon. Unleashes his power, but not enough damage to threaten XX. But they do force him away from the Herald that was taken down by LNG.
Completely neutral at the end of the day. It's just 100 gold for Hacker, and that's about it, aside from some summoner spells. So all things said and done, no kills go either way, but this Drake, that might change things, because there are some ults on cooldown, but not on the side of LNG. They've got their combo.
Cataclysm, what do we call it? Heroic no.
I can't remember what you called it.
Cataclysmic Entrance. That's it. With that still available, with the Stormbringer alongside, I'm not sure I can integrate that, but Dragon's just going to go down.
Yeah, I was maybe getting a little bit too excited on that one, honestly, because LNG had to recall away. It was OMG that won the fight at the end of the day. Yeah. They were the ones that denied the Herald, so they're the first ones on the scene. They're able to just finish it off for the Zinni answer from LNG. So things looking pretty good still for OMG, and you have to keep your eyes on this Fiora, who is now getting to a point, especially once that Triforce is finished off, where towers won't last any time at all. Somebody has to answer Curse wherever he goes. He's going to have threat on these towers, and all OMG really wants to do during the mid game, during the late game, is just hold LNG at arm's length. Try and stop them getting objectives while Curse influences the rest of the game.
He's already so big. He's got a 20 CS lead. He's got a Trinity Force on the way. Speaking of Trinity Forces, Flandre's actually opted in for that instead of something like the Black Cleaver. But again, you are talking about Curse up towards the top side. What's that second stat? I see minutes. I see the symbol for minutes. 453. I'm going to say damage a minute. And that's his total gold. 7,600 gold at 18 minutes is actually quite obnoxious. He's now got the Trinity Force completed. 2-item Fiora, 320. How you deal with him in the side lane is going to require at least 2 people. Maybe 3.
Yeah, he's terrifying at this point in the game, to word it accurately. And Icon moving up to this top side with Cold and Hacker. There's no way Flandre can contest this. He needs to back away.
More gold in the back pocket of OMG. Remember, LNG had the early gold lead. That's transitioned quite a lot because of Curse, because of Icon. Now about 1,500 in the lead for OMG. And they picked up that Cloud before. Again, you got to still feel pretty good with the ult cooldown for someone like Curse, someone like Icon.
So we do get to a point in the game now where when we look towards who is going to match Curse, right? Who's the one to try and clear waves in this bottom side? Let's say Baron spawns, right? Which is going to happen in the next couple of minutes. Somebody has to be in the bottom lane, stopping Curse just taking towers. FLICKR can't 1v1 him. Maple can't 1v1 him. They've got a bit of wave clear in the form of Maple, but honestly, without Azonia's there, it wouldn't surprise me if Curse can just dive Maple. So it becomes very difficult for LNG. They have to be the ones forcing things to happen on the map so that Curse can't just split.
Speaking of which, the dive begins with Curse getting caught out by Maple. OMG lose their turret, they lose their backline. SMLZ and Curse both get low. So LNG force the engage, burns a flush out of XX as well.
Look, I love it. That's exactly what I was just asking for. I should have been looking at the screen, really, because it was right in front of my eyes. But they're going to force the issue. They managed to get the mid lane tower. That means that they can move their vision line a little bit further forward. And threatening things like the Baron is the way forward. However, they do have an Ezreal Galio. So in terms of damage, LNG not really the best at taking something like a Baron. OMG, on the other hand, with a Kai'Sa, with a Rage Blade, they're feeling pretty good about that.
Oh, yeah. I think that actually they do it, especially if Curse joins the damage he has at this point. Level up over FLICKR. We're going to continue to monitor this matchup when you keep talking about matching. FLICKR walks into lane. FLICKR shouldn't walk into lane.
Yeah,
There's Grand Challenge available and hasn't been used just yet. It was a bit late. Light comes in to save the day. Shutdown into FLICKR, and Curse could have played that a lot better.
I think Curse was expecting FLICKR to flash away, didn't realize someone else was on the way, which is, I mean, look, I don't want to be too negative for OMG, but that is 2 games in a row that we see Curse underneath the enemy tier 2 on the bottom lane while Baron's up, and he gets caught out.
He's got teleport, he's got flash still available. Grand Challenge not on that long of a cooldown, especially with the Cloud Dragon in tow, with another one coming up in a minute 15. But FLICKR gets the shove in this bottom lane now, has a bounty on himself. So the Bear set up in position to Death Dance second, maybe. That will not be a locket. He's getting a Death Dance second.
So he's going pretty damage heavy. I mean, he went for the Balmy Cinder first item, and I was like, okay, he's just going to go straight tank. But apparently not. This guy wants to make an influence. And what, like it's FLICKR, right? What did we expect realistically?
Yeah, very true.
We're going to see a lot of Death Dances this game, though, because you can see Light getting close to finishing one off on Ezreal as well. I'm curious what kind of build path SMLZ is going to go for on this Kai'Sa, because there are a lot of options of what you can go in Kai'Sa these days, but we have started to see the AP builds starting to take a bit more prevalence.
W flies a lot longer, as maybe Icon needs to go as well. That was not going to lock down Icon.
A little disjointed.
Yeah, just a bit. Oi! But Light does a bit of damage. True shot barrage! Oh. That was a very close Zhonya's. Nicely done from Icon. Rather stopwatch. But now that Icon's out of the fight, he might have TP, but LNG in front of the Dragon first.
Yeah, LNG have priority on this one. Cataclysm's on cooldown, though, so they don't really have their full combo available. Bear in mind, Hacker can steal this. He is playing Lee Sin.
5 versus 5. Jungle level difference not there, both at 11. Going to be poked down a little bit. Dwan for the engage right to the front line, gets hooked in himself. Box is down. Dwan, Grand Challenge on top as well. That'll heal everyone as a heroic entrance from Maple. And LNG have used everything. They now lose the Dragon to OMG. And that's that.
Good stun out of Icon at the end there, but ultimately you're fighting without your Cataclysm. The Cataclysm really is the primary form of engage there. We needed to see the grand entrance out of Maple immediately as soon as Dwan went in.
They're going to start this off though, Munchables, and I tell you what, LNG are not here because Unleashed Power, Scout of the Week will kill him, or maybe one more Q and auto attack needed. XX only just survives, and now for Icon has to flash away. The Shield of Duran came close, and that'll keep the time because Baron's still going down super quick. True shot barrage. Won't take it. It is secured by Hacker while OMG now have to fight them off. FLICKR goes in for a massive 3-man ulti, but the Bear can't bear his claws. Curse dodges away. The Cataclysm means nothing again. No Shield of Durand is going to hit. SMLZ gets pulled on in, and we're doing this dance again. Hacker dies. Thank you. And now OMG will get 3 Barons.
I don't know what on earth is going on this game. Icon bought so much time for the rest of his team. He's going to be rewarded with a mid lane tier 2. When we get to the replay, just look at Maple in this fight. He somehow got a double kill at the end, but it was He missed just about everything to start things off.
Curse has grand challenge. All he has to do is press W on Dwan. Doesn't do it in time, but the depth charge is blocked away. The grand challenge locked on down. And you don't fight a Fiora because she's going to heal it up. A big challenge for Light here with the Ignite down. Curse needs to press Q, run into this Ezreal, and he'll die. But well said, Munchables. Out of mana, Light still has to back away.
That would have been a 2v1 if he just had the mana for a Q. That's so devastating for him, but beautifully played. Let's take another look at this fight, though. Light obviously just free-firing the whole time. The damage out of the Volibear was insane. Maple jumps into the pit, flashes over the wall, taunts nobody.
The Cataclysm War couldn't go down. I have to say, Curse is playing this game absolutely great. Apart from that bottom side play, Curse is playing amazingly.
This series as well, like the Kale in game number 1 looked fantastic as well. And we get the real question for me on the side of OMG is like, why is it Icon that's off in a lane pressuring elsewhere instead of Curse, right? Have Curse somewhere else on the map. You're like, Fiora doesn't really function well in team fights. It's very difficult to proc all 4 vitals on your ultimate during a team fight. There's too much CC. Like, Fiora is essentially a melee AD carry. What do AD carries hate? CC. Where is CC going to be given to you? Team fights. That's my theory.
Where do we... No, I understand. I agree. I was in another train of thought with a 5k gold lead on OMG at 25 minutes. They got Cloud Soul in 2 minutes. Again, I just see a Fiora and I'm like, Cloud Soul on Fiora feels so damn good. So easy to hit the procs on Grand Challenge.
Yeah, and he's not exactly been struggling so far anyway. With a Cloud Soul on top of that, yeah, he's going to be feeling pretty good.
Plus, the 3rd Cloud to give the ult cooldown now. Grand Challenge is always up. Unleash Power always up. The Killer Instinct on SMLZ will always be up as well.
Plus a ton of movement speed off the back of that when you jump into the fray. So really, really nice if they can get that soul. And it's going to be coming up in a minute and a half.
They have the map under control at this point. So if OMG don't get this soul, I'll be surprised. LNG backs against the wall. And Curse is just so unbeatable in the side lane. We
need to see LNG make something happen at this point, because Ezreal is as strong as he's going to get. Galio's not getting any stronger. Maybe wait for a death stance on Flandre before you pull the trigger, but ultimately, this Drake, I see this as the way that LNG get back into this game, because look at the composition. They want to stack up and brawl. OMG are going to group up to try and get this Drake. This is your opportunity to find that fight you've been looking for all day.
You know what needs to happen, though? We need an Executioner's calling out of someone, especially for Curse. There you go. All right, Light's going to pick that up now. So that's the Doran's Blade. I'm going to do my color point and say I'd rather see the Doran Blade sold from Light to get control wards. Yeah. Don't be that guy.
It is the... there is always that conversation. But ultimately, when you look at the rest of the scoreboard, his team has a whole bunch of control wards, so I don't think he's going to be too worried about it.
I don't care. He can get one more.
He could get one more. That is
You know what? That's the... I don't need to.
I think one of the underestimated things about having that Doran's Blade is the extra health that it gives you, especially when you're running like a Death Dance build. This guy doesn't have a Yuumi. The extra health could make the difference.
I'll believe that when he gets to like 1 hit away and the Doran's Blade help is the thing that saves him.
I'm just going to look like a genius now when he survives on 1 HP.
Be like, dude, everyone save your D-Blade till 27 minutes in the game.
I would argue you should be buying D-Blades. No,
buy them all.
Let's not go too far.
You don't need core items. Do the Misfortune build at 30 minutes in the game. Dragon's up. LNG move in the river. Icon on a flanking position, at least to get that scat of the week.
This is the fight they won.
One engages in. Big Volibear ulti. The hero's entrance. Finally, everything layered nicely against OMG. XX in with the ulti. Has to flash away eventually, but OMG's damage threats are still there. Curse into the backline. Flandre goes too far forward, but at least kills Hacker. The Dragon could be secured. They just need to smite it away, and with success they do, while the rest of the fight over to the side of OMG. They're too large and in charge. Killer Instinct into the backline, and Curse does the rest. Give him the triple and give the game over to OMG.
With the double TP here, with a Fiora to push this one in. That is going to be the game and the series here for OMG. They denied the Cloud Soul. That was the fight that LNG wanted, but XX, for some reason, doesn't go for the Cataclysm right at the start. It was only Cold that they got with the whole combo. If XX is able to get some people in the Cataclysm, that could have been a different fight.
We come back to the conversation that LNG, while they had big wins against FPX and RNG, they've gone back to normal. OMG have taken them down 2-0. That is the second 2-0 against LNG. First was E-Stars, now there's this. A lot of concerns. While for OMG, they're starting to climb up the standings a bit, starting to get some big wins themselves.
Yeah, expectations have been thrown out of the window at this point when it comes to these two teams because
yes, indeed,
they're winning some games, and I mean, OMG looks strong here, right?